Hi everyone, this is Abhishek Talwar. I'm an author and the creator of The Adventures of Biplob the Bumblebee and the Detective Colonel Zoro series of books. Now, today I'm very excited because I'm going to share with you some tips on how you can also become an author creating fascinating stories of your own. Now, the first step, obviously, in crafting a story is knowing what you want to write about and who you are writing for. I'll give you a small example. For instance, I have created stories featuring Biplob the Bumblebee that are for children of 3 to 5 years old and for children who are 6 years and up, maybe up till about the age of 10. The difference in both the books is even though they feature the same character, the plots are different. These books obviously have a simpler plot because they are for younger children, whereas here the plots are a little more complex. Which brings us to the first point: who are you writing for will define how you write for them. Complex as that may sound, it's actually quite simple. Now, the first step is figuring out who will tell your story, who is your protagonist, or who is the heroine or the hero of your story. This individual, be it a lady or a man or an animal or a young girl or a young boy, whoever that person is or whoever that individual is, you have to craft their personality. How will this person react in a certain situation? For instance, I'll give you a small example. Sometimes when we're stuck in traffic, there are some of us who get very irritable. And then there are other people who don't get irritable, but they just look at it as an opportunity to maybe listen to some very good music or chat with friends or make a phone call or get their work done. Now, it's the same situation. You're stuck in traffic. But two different people with two very different personalities have two very different reactions to the same situation. So you have to craft the personality of your character. To give you a specific example, Biplob the Bumblebee is someone who believes that nature has a solution for everything. We just have to find it. He's always very positive, always very upbeat. He's got a sense of humor. He is okay with poking fun at himself. He is also okay at poking fun at his friends without offending them or without hurting anyone's feelings. So essentially, Biplob believes that no matter what the problem is, we just need to look within ourselves, look around in nature, and we will always find a solution for it. He's always ready to help his friends. Even if someone is not very friendly to him, Biplob is willing to be patient and allow them to come around. So that's Biplob the Bumblebee's personality. In the same way, where do I have Zoro here? So we this little dog sitting here, not so little dog sitting here, that's Detective Colonel Zoro. That's a better picture of him over here. Now, Zoro is an Indian panther hound. He's retired from the Indian Army, so he tends to be a little no-nonsense in his approach. But having said that, he is also very laid back, at least that's what people think when you read about him, that Zoro is always relaxed, very laid back, but his mind is always working in overtime. His favorite adage or thing he likes to keep repeating, or the mantra that he lives his life by, is reduce to deduce, which means reduce all the available data to you till you get information that you can use. And that will help you deduce and find out what you are looking for. Very loyal to his friends, very ruthless with his enemies, someone who loves his coffee cube, which is his barbecue flavored coffee, and someone who will always stand by his friends no matter what. That is Colonel Zoro. So you must have seen two heroes from two different stories, from two different age groups, both with personalities which are similar in some ways, but very different in other ways. And that's how you craft the personalities of not just your heroes, but your heroes, your villains, your supporting characters, everyone who comes together to make the universe or the world within which your story will operate. And that brings us to the next point, which is the world. So in every story, every book that you're creating, it could be a series, like for instance in the Zoro books, we've got 6 books already published and another 4 coming out soon and followed by 10 in the next year. So a whole series of books that will keep coming out. Or you can have standalone books where it's just one book featuring one hero which you may not want to repeat. Whatever the case may be, you have to create a world that they will operate within. And this world will have certain rules. This world will have certain zones in certain areas. And this world will help you to layer your story or craft your story within that environment. So if you see the Detective Zoro world, Zoro's world is, these stories are all set in a place where there are only dogs, there are no human beings at all. Using dogs as the medium of storytelling or as narrating the tale, I help children discover the beautiful and fascinating history, heritage and culture of India through mystery stories. Likewise, in the Biplob the Bumblebee stories, his world is this very nice, beautiful village that is set amidst lush green forests, and that defines what's happening in these stories, because these are stories that introduce my readers to concepts around sustainability. So it helps them understand different things around sustainability. So the worlds, as you must have discovered by now, are created such that they help me in bringing the point across. They help in narrating the story in a more effective manner. Now you have come across a lot of videos with a lot of very good writers giving you tips on how you create a great story. I'm sure you've pretty much gotten everything that you needed from those, but I'll still just skim over those points. So we've got our main characters, we've got the world. What we now need is conflict. Because only when there is conflict, only when there is a problem which the hero or the heroine has to resolve, will you get the opportunity to bring in a lot of drama, to bring in a lot of action, possibly to bring in some humor, to bring in a lot of emotion, and in the process of the protagonist or the heroine discovering the solution to the problem that they are facing, or resolving the conflict that they are dealing with at that point in time, can you bring out different nuances of the character? And that's what makes stories very, very interesting. For me, the way I like to create these books is I like to start with a bang, so you get your reader's attention right at the beginning, and end the story with a big bang. Always with a very nice, over-the-top, happy ending. Because at the end of the day, what we are all looking for is hope. What we are all looking for is happiness. And if your stories can bring a smile to someone's face, then half your job is done. So I hope this has been helpful in you discovering what is the best way to possibly start and what is the best way for you to craft your story. The one last one I'd like to leave you with is writing stories is pretty much like any other skill. The more you practice it, the more you do it, the better you will get at it. So don't waste any more time watching this or any other videos. Pick up your pen and paper and start writing. All the best.